Okay, hey guys, area today. Let's burn through this. It's kind of a longer lesson. Let's try as quickly as we can and knock through it and watch it again if you need to. Area means the number basically of squares that you can fit in an area. Okay, it's two-dimensional. Like if you have a line, somebody will say to you, "Oh, that line is a foot long." Okay, it's one direction, one dimension. Okay, if somebody says to you, "Oh, here's a square foot," that means a square, perfectly drawn. That's 1 foot on every side. So that's two dimensions. That's a length and that's a width, right? So you'll say somebody, oh, let's say this is 11 by 11 or whatever. This is your prison cell, okay? There's your 11 by 11. There's your bed. And let me see here. There you got your little, okay, and your little teddy bear to kind of snuggle by, and I can't draw it. That was pretty creepy. Never mind. Forget the whole thing. This is your bedroom. Okay, so there's your bureau. And there's your homeschool books all over the floor over here. Okay, covering your bed. All right. So you're going to say, oh, it's 11 by 11. This will be 11 square feet on this side. And there'll be 11 of those rows. It's 121 square feet. Okay, we already know how to find area of rectangles and squares. You just multiply the length times the width and you got it. Okay, so let's do that for a couple of these figures here. Find the area of this figure. Angles, right angles, dimensions, or centimeters. Okay, let's deal with that. Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to have to cut this chunk in half, or at least in pieces, okay? Because you need to find the area of two rectangles. You can either do it vertically or you can do it horizontally. It doesn't matter. You'll get the right answer every time if you do it correctly. So I'm just going to cut this in two pieces. Well, this thing is 2 by 5 here. So this is 10, right? 10 square centimeters, all right? It's a small room. Anyway, okay, this rectangle over here is 4 by 2, which makes it 8, so the entire thing is 10 plus 8. That's how many square centimeters you have, okay? The shaded part of this figure, let's say that, I don't know, this is a 10, 10 and then 12, and then let's say that this is 6 by 3 or something like that. Well, if you find the shaded part of the figure, you're going to find the area of the entire thing, right? But you're going to subtract this little white part in there. So the entire thing, if we had no little white rectangle inside it, would be 12 times 10, which is 120. But we're trying to find only the shaded part, so we're going to chop out this 6 by 3. Well, this 6 by 3 is going to be 18, so we'll subtract that and you get 102. That's what your area is for this one. Okay, something special about triangles. The area of a triangle, all right? Well, first off, let's pretend this is a rectangle, okay? Well, if you draw the rectangle, it looks like that. Let's say this is, I don't know, 6 and then by 10. Well, if you had an entire rectangle, it would be 6 times 10 or 60, correct? But you don't. You have a half a rectangle. So it's going to be half of that, half of 60, which is 30. Now you could either take half of 6, which is 3. You could go 10 times 3, 30. Or you could go 6 times, not 10, but 6 times 5. Well, 6 times 5 is also 30. So the same thing will work for any triangle of any shape in the world. It can be as funky looking as that thing, like that, doesn't matter. When you find the area of a triangle, you take 1/2 of the base times the height. And that is it. No matter what the base looks like, no matter what the height is, don't think you have to geometrically do any solutions. You go, what's the base, what's the height, multiply them in half. Or you can take either the base or the height, chop that part in half, then multiply it, and you got it permanently. So let's do a couple of these. This one on the left is a 3 by 4 triangle. What is the area of the triangle? Well, if it were a rectangle, it'd be 3 times 4, it'd be 12. But it ain't a rectangle, it's a triangle, okay? So you're going to take half of 12, which is 6. Of course, you could just go like this, not 3 times 4, but 3 times 2 is 6, okay? And this one looks a little different. But we know the base is 4, we know the height is 3, and guess what? We don't care what it looks like. We know the base is 4 and the height is 3. We go 4 times 3 is 12, half of that 6, this is also 6. This one, now look how this is different. This is a whole different thing here. All right, this one's base is 4 and the height is 3, so that's going to be 3 times 4, which is 12, divided by 2, which is 6. We don't have to know any geometry, special stuff. Ooh, it's at an angle. Let me figure that out using calculus and imaginary numbers. No, base 4, height 3, 12, 6. Boom, that's all you need to know, okay? Now this looks kind of weird. You might go, oh look, the base is 10, and then what's the, I don't know the height here. What is that? Oh no. Well, you don't need to know the height. Well, excuse me, you don't need more information. You can just look at this as this is the base, and then this is the height if you want. Or, I don't care, you could look at this is the base, and then that's the height if you kind of turn it the other around. So it doesn't matter. Just imagine that thing, and if you need to physically move your math book around when you're doing these, do it, okay? So one of these is the base, we'll call it 6, and that's the height. Well, all you need to do is go 6 times 8 is 48, divided by 2 is 24. Of course, you could, if you wanted to, you could go, of course, we know the answer is 24. You could go, oh, heck with this, I'm going to go 3, not 6, half of that. 3 times 8, 24. Or you could go, okay, oh no, 6 times 8, no, I'm just going to do 6 times 4. 6 times 4, 24, you got it, move on to the next one. Okay, all right. Now this is a strange animal here. This is, you need to find the area. We're never going to do anything except for find areas of triangles, areas of rectangles, which include squares, and areas of circles, which we'll do in just a minute here. That's all you ever need to know. Now, a triangle is a little more, oh, I need to remember it's half, and the circle we'll get to in a second. But any figure like this, you're just going to cut into chunks here, all right? We know that this is 6 by 4, so this part is 24 square feet, right? Okay, now the only question is, what's this triangle? We're going to need to find the base here, right, from there to there. Well, we know that this is 6 feet over here, and this entire thing is 10 feet, which means this base is going to have to be 4. The height of the triangle, we already know it matches this one, so this is also 4. So we have a 4 times a 4. Now, again, if it were a rectangle, that'd be 16, but it ain't no rectangle, okay? Excuse me, I shouldn't say. It isn't no rectangle. So it's going to be 4 times 4 is 16. Half of that is 8. So 24 plus 8 or 32. That's your answer. Okay. All right. Circle terms. You tell me. What are some terms you've learned about circles? What words go along with circles? You know what? Let's do here. What's this called right here? Oops. That's called a mistake. Okay. What's that called? From the a line that goes from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. It's called a radius. Okay. And how about this whole thing right here? What's that entire thing called? I think I heard you say diameter. Okay, if you did, that's correct. All right, what's it called when you go all the way around the entire circle? That is circumference. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to use those. You're going to need to memorize a couple of little formulas. You've got to write these down. And again, make sure that you're taking notes like this in your notebook. There's your notebook paper. Okay, you should have an 8 going on right there. So in case you're doing some problem 2 months from now and it has a little 8 by it in your book, then you can go back to your notes and pick out something pretty simple that you do. Okay, the formula for the area of a circle, you need to memorize this, or at least keep looking back at it until you've got it memorized. It is pi times the radius squared. Pi, for our purposes, we will use 3.14. And that the term pi refers to how many times a diameter of a circle can stretch around the same circle. Like if you pin the diameter, if that was a string or something, you pinned it around and then there it is, and then pin it around and there it is, and then pin it around, there it is. Okay, you always have, it goes 3 times, there's a little chunk left over, that's the 0.14, okay? Whatever the radius is, you know how to square things, right? 5 squared is 25, 10 squared is 100, 8 squared is 64, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, and so on. That's how many, that's the area of a circle. In other words, if you take pi, 3.14, and multiply by the square of the radius, that number will tell you how many squares will fit into that circle. Okay, and let's do one. All right, the radius of a circle is 6. Let's draw it. And there's your radius. It's 6. Find the area of the circle. Well, the formula for area is pi, that's the number of times the diameter goes around a circle, times the radius squared. Well, 6 squared means 6 times 6, which is 36. So we'll go 36 times pi. I'll use a little dot there instead of an x. 36 times pi. And if you go back, how much is pi worth about? 3.14. So then you can sit there and do the arithmetic and go 3.14 times 36. Do your decimals, boom, you got it, okay? Which is going to be 113.04. Approximately. That's good enough for our purposes. All right, there you go. Okay, the diameter of a circle is 20. Find the area. Ooh, they switched this up a little bit. There it is. The diameter is 20. Well, that's a piece of cake. If the diameter is 20, then what's the radius? 10, right? Okay, find the area. We know the formula. Area is pi times the radius squared. In other words, it's about 3.14 times the radius squared. Well, what is 10 squared? 100, right? 3.14 times 100. If you multiply by 10, you just move it over decimal 1. By 100 twice, there's your answer, 314-ish. There you go. All right. The area of a circle is 80. What's the radius? Okay. Ooh, okay. This is a little bit interesting. If the area is 80, what's the radius? Well, all you need to do is just, if you don't know what to do, just go like this every single time. Area, pi r squared, okay? So the area is 80, so you can just go, well, forget that. It's just going to be 80. And then pi, we know is 3.14. And, you know, the radius, times the radius. Gee, wonder what that is, okay? Well, you can go 80 divided by 3.14, do the arithmetic, okay, and find out whatever your answer is. And go, okay, well, what's that about? And the answer is somewhere around 25-ish. And 25 is the radius squared. Well, what number times itself gives you 25? It's 5, right? Now, that's not the exact answer. Okay, but it's close. It's pretty close. It's good enough for our purposes. That's all they want you to do. Is go, if you know, again, if you don't know what to do, just go area equals pi times the radius squared. If you don't know how, if you don't have any information in front of you, just say area equals pi times the radius squared and try to figure it out, okay? If a policeman gives you a ticket one day and threatens to shoot you, just say area equals pi times the radius squared, okay? If you're in a job interview, you're not sure how to answer the question, area equals pi times the radius squared. They'll be really impressed, I promise you. They'll make a big impression on them, okay? All right, the last type we're going to do is this figure to find the area. And you can tell from this thing that it's a kind of a mess. It's a triangle, it's a rectangle, and it's part of a circle. So we're going to have to use all three of these things, okay? So let's actually, don't worry about all these long instructions here, but let's just cut this into chunks again. There's a triangle, and let's just go right straight down here. There's a rectangle, and there's the circle, okay? Well, let's find the rectangle first, this middle part, okay? We know it's 5. We just need to know how tall this thing is right there. And the answer to this thing is if you slide that radius, you swing it around, this part's going to be 2. And of course, if you swing it around this way, this part is going to be, you will not be surprised to learn, 2, okay? So this entire thing from here to there is 4. So you got a rectangle that's 5 by 4. There's your 20, right? Obviously, okay? Well, let's take a look at the triangle. Well, we know the triangle is also 4 feet high. Well, we have 7 from here to here, and we have 5 from here, from there to there. So obviously this is going to be 2, right? Well, the triangle will be then 2 times 4, which is 8, but you have to chop that in half, remember, okay? So that's going to be 8 divided by 2 is 4, okay? Now here's the interesting part. We need to find this half of a circle, the area of half a circle. And if you don't know what to do, you just go area is equal to pi. Let's just go ahead and put 3.14 from now on. Pi times the radius squared. Well, you know, the radius squared is 2 times 2, right? 2 times itself. So it's going to be 4, okay? But we only have a half a circle, right? I mean, this isn't an entire circle like this, like that. We just have the half of a circle. That's all we're finding the area for. So you're going to go like this and go 3.14 times 4 is 12.56. then you're going to end up dividing that by 2. And you're going to get 6.28 and add that to the pile over here. Okay? So that'd be 30.28. Okay? But if you didn't want to do all division and all this mess, you could just go, if this is what you originally had, and you look back at this and you go, oh, but wait, that's just half a circle. I'm not going to multiply that by 4. I'm just going to multiply that by 2 instead. You can do that, and you'll get the same thing and the same answer. So there's really, all you need to do is go, I know how to find areas of rectangles. I know how to find areas of triangles, and I can now find the area of a circle, or if I have to, a half a circle, right? If this thing were, I don't know, times 12, you'd go, oh, it's half a circle times 6. That's all you need to do. Okay, let's do parallelograms and trapezoids, all right? Find the area of this parallelogram. Ugh, look at this thing. This is a mess. Okay, well, it looks like a rectangle that some, I don't know, elephant has sat on and smashed it to one side or something. It's kind of bent it, right? You ever seen a box that looks like that? Okay. Yeah, just stick a bunch of essential oils on the top of that thing. See how long it takes till that thing flattens. Anyway, this is a really simple piece of cake. All you need to do on trapezoids, which is what this is to know the height and to know the base. You multiply them, you're done, just like a rectangle. Just make sure you don't call this the height, because it is not the height. It's one of the sides. This is the height. So you will not do anything as far as area using a 5 in this at all. You'll say 8 times 4 is 32, done. Okay. And the reason this is true, by the way, just so you'll know very quickly, if you took a saw and cut this off and took this part right here and then you glued it over here and you just glued it right there to this thing, so this part's gone. You would see that you have a rectangle now, right? From here to here. There's your new rectangle. It's 8 across and it's 4 down, 32. Boom, you're done. Okay? So don't call it 5. Make sure it's the height you're messing with. Okay? So, we just found the area of that. Okay. This is a trapezoid. The dimensions are in hootenannies. And we're going to find the area. Well, there's a very simple way to find the area of this thing. Now look at this. Okay, the top of that, the top base is 9, the bottom base is 15. Well, again, we are trying to find the area. We are ignoring this here. We don't care about that. All I care about is the height. Okay? Now you can't tell me though that this thing, oh, I'll just go 9 times 4, that's 36. I got it. No, you can't, because that would be a rectangle like this going down 9. You'd have these chunks left on the side you didn't take care of. But you also couldn't say, oh, I got it. 15 times 4, that's going to be 60. Yeah, I got it. I'm done. No, because you don't have 15 times 4. This is like that you'd be assuming you had this extra space here that you don't have. Well, what you have to do is this. You need to go to the number exactly between 9 and 15. In other words, the average. What number is exactly between 9 and 15? And the answer is 12. Okay? 12 is what you're going to multiply by 4 to get this. Okay? Which is 48. And that is how you find a trapezoid area. Okay? And we just did that. Okay. All right. Well, let's try the practice set. And I got A, B, and C there. Let's do those. We'll come together in just a few minutes then. Okay? Try that. Pause it. Okay, just sliding over to get my book here. Okay, and make sure I've got a... Okay, here is this part right here. I'm just going to cut this into 2 chunks. All right, this is going to be 2 times 6. That'll be 12. This will be 9 across, and then 5 here, and that'll be 45. So the answer to A is 57. There it is. Okay. All right, pause it and try B. Okay, here's B. And we have to cut this into chunks again. Well, this is an easy one. 7 times 4 is 28, right? The only question is, what is it from here to here, and how tall is this thing? Well, we know it's 4. And we have 10 all the way across, 7 there, so that means this is 3. So we'll go 3 times 4, 12, divided by 2 is 6. So 28 plus 6 is 34, and there you go. Okay? All right, pause it and try C. Okay, well, they're telling you that the radius of a circle is 5. Okay, so there's your circle. The radius is 5. They want you to find the area of the circle. Well, you know, you're going to write area equals pi times the radius squared. We'll go ahead and just write 3.14. We'll use that for pi. The radius squared, well, what is 5 squared? 25, right? So you're just going to multiply 3.14 times 25, and you will get 78.5 approximately there. There you go. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at D. Pause it and try D. All right, well, again, this is one of those, this is, you know, using all three of the shapes, so we can just cut it in chunks here, okay? First of all, let's figure out the size of this rectangle here. Well, if this swings up here, that's 2, swings down, that's 2, so the entire thing is 4, okay? All right, so the rectangle part, which is actually a square, is easy. 4 times 4, that's going to be 16. We got this part, okay, we got it. Now, let's take a look at the triangle part. This is 4 all the way from here to here, which means 7, and then 4 goes, that's going to be a 3 there. So you have 3 times 4, which is 12. Cut that in half, it's 6. So there's our 6, okay? This is the toughie, because it's kind of funky looking, and, you know, that has the formula and all that kind of thing. But, again, don't forget, area equals 3.14, that's pi, times the radius squared. Well, the radius squared is, you know, 2 times 2 is 4, right? Okay? But look at it, we're not finding the area of an entire circle like this. We're just finding a half of it. So you don't have to multiply the 3.14 times 4, you can just multiply it by 2. That will give you 6.28, okay? So you've got, what is that, 28.28? There you go. Okay, all right, that's enough for area. Hope you guys had a good day. I'll see you next time.